Kristen Willett here, registered dietitian. I am the moderator of this group, and I wrote an email this week saying that I was going to come on live and talk about how to start. Some people come on as we go through here. I'm actually doing it from my computer for the first time. Usually I do things on my phone, but I don't know if you noticed last week it was the wrong orientation, and so I apologize about that. So I wanted to make sure I did it from my computer so that we had a full screen view. And I also will be uploading these to YouTube so that everyone can see them, or you can, sometimes it's just easier to go onto YouTube and watch a video than scroll all the comments here on the Facebook. So I see that someone has joined us live. Hello, hello, welcome. So let's get started with meal prep. So I know a lot of you have joined this group because meal prep is appealing to you. It definitely can be a way to help meet your protein needs throughout the week, to lessen the chance of more miscellaneous eating and kind of more of these grab and goes. So meal prep is a great way to be able to have a plan. Oh, I see someone saying hi from France. Hello. It's a great way to have a plan, so it makes you feel more in your comfort zone. So let's get started with that. So meal planning and meal prepping is definitely different from each person. So some of you may prefer to have all of your meals planned out for the week. Some of you may like to do some of the prep for the meals because you like fresher food when you eat. So there is no wrong way on how to do meal prep. There's no standard definition. So my definition of meal prep is that you have at least a plan each week. So whether that be, deciding what your meals are going to be or actually preparing them, that's up to you. I think that's a personal choice moving forward. So my first recommendation is to set it on the calendar. So I know some of my recommendations today are going to sound simple, and you probably have heard some of them before, but I think it's important to recognize that that's not always easy. So it's important that we decide and we hear it, and maybe there's something that's going to click each time. So definitely set it on your calendar. So looking at your week, I always recommend setting at least 20 minutes to 1 hour, depending on what your style is, to be able to sit down and decide what your plan is going to be for the week. So whether that's going to be, you're going to be planning your breakfasts or whether you're going to be planning your dinners, setting that time aside is going to be really helpful. Setting it on the calendar, ideally try to set it the same time and the same place every week, because you're going to be more consistent on being able to do that each week. Of course, things happen. Of course, you may go on vacation one week or whatnot, but generally, really, as you continue to work with me and continue to be in this group with me, it's really all about that consistency. So consistency is going to trump that perfection every time. So more is just trying to stay consistent with it. So set it on the calendar about when you're going to do your meal prepping. Tip number 2 is that I want you to look at your meals. So currently, like, what meals are you struggling with? So for me, breakfasts are pretty easy for me. Like I only have like 2 or 3 that I rotate. Sometimes on the weekends, I will, have something a little bit more extravagant, because there's more time to be able to, to dedicate towards breakfast. But I find that dinners are the hardest for me because it's around 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock. I know we all know that feeling where it's like, okay, what am I going to eat? And so you open the fridge and you just stare at the refrigerator and you look around and you scrounge and say, okay, I have this, I have this, I have this. And there's still going to be some of that. But having, some meals planned out is going to be really helpful, especially if you're able to notice when you are going to be busy throughout the week. So if you have, I know COVID's starting to, things are getting a little bit more relaxed. So some kids are picking up sports games again. If you know that you're going to have, a busy night with sports, you may want to come home and have a slow cooker meal. So first identify the time that you're going to do it, and then identify what meal you're going to start with. And you don't need to go huge. You don't need to plan out every single meal for 7 days. Like, if this is totally new to you, then even just starting with 1 meal a week, 2 meals a week of having that plan is going to be helpful, and it's not going to be as overwhelming. And really the key here is that it's going to help build your confidence. And so that's what's really most important here, is that you believing in yourself that this is something that you can do. So starting with 1 or 2 meals a week is a great starting point. So step number 3 is deciding your meal prep style. So do you want to chop all your vegetables up and just have those ready for the week, or do you actually want to prepare each meal? If you do want to prepare each meal, you're going to have to set aside some more time to be able to do that. But decide how you want your meals to be and what's realistic for you. So, honestly, dedicating 3 hours on the weekend to meal prepping and shopping and whatnot all at the same time is really challenging for me. Like I have a hard time being able to set aside that time. And then having young kids in the house, I might have a plan, but then it gets sidetracked. So what I like to do is I do more spread it out throughout the week. So like I'll do my shopping one day or my meal planning one day, do my shopping another day, and then I will do more of my meal prepping and whatnot on another day. So and I may even do a couple of different days of meal prep depending on how much time I get because it does get interrupted. So like yesterday, I was in the middle of preparing and I had 3 meals planned and it just didn't work out to do 2 meals or do 3 meals. So I'm gonna make extra on one of my meals tonight. So you just have to also stay flexible. So, if you're just now joining us, really to start meal prepping, set it on your calendar. Pick your meal that you are having the most challenge with, whether dinner, breakfast, or lunch. And 3, just, oh my gosh, live stuff. 3 is being able to just to start doing it. So really the key concept on the next step is not having perfection. So there's definitely this idea that we feel like we just need to always be perfect with it, that we have to get the right meal prep containers, that we need to have all the exact bariatric recipes, that we need to have the perfect cookbooks. And these things are all great. And if they're going to help support you moving forward, then I'm all for it. But you don't feel like you definitely don't need these things to like just get started. So really the key is just start. Like it doesn't have to be perfect. So, for instance, like last week I wanted to start doing these lives more and my orientation on my phone was messed up for all of you. It definitely wasn't perfect. This room is now, it's just a regular room in my house. I eventually would like to have a nicer camera. Right now I'm doing it from my computer. Like this is not ideal for how I envision my lives to be. It's not necessarily as fancy as other things, but it's getting started. So really just trying to set that time aside for yourself to get started is really key. And then knowing that it can change throughout your journey. So if you're noticing that you wanted to start off doing just cutting the vegetables and you're like, you know what, I really have this down, I think I really want to add something else to it, then you can go ahead and add to that. If you want to start meal prepping all your meals right away and then you decide to take it down to just cutting your vegetables, that's okay too. Like this is a moving target. Like it doesn't have to be perfect and consistent all the time. So I'm sorry, it doesn't have to be perfect all the time, but consistency is what's key. So showing up for yourself consistently is what's going to help in the long run. So I hope you found that helpful. I noticed there's some people that are on right now. So if there is any questions, I would be happy to take some questions about meal prepping if any is coming up. So I'd love to have a conversation with you. Thank you. I see someone. Hi from France. Hi from Delaware. Hello, hello. We have so many people in this group. It's just so fun to see people from all different the world. And I know we have a variety of people from different stages of their weight loss surgery. And so that can come into play also. You're not going to be doing as much meal prep if you're in the pureed phase as opposed to if you're 2 or 3 years out. You're going to have more options when you're 2 or 3 years out. So it looks like we don't have any questions. So if you're watching this video on the replay, feel free to ask the question below and I will do my best to answer it for you, especially if it's related to meal prep. All right, so I will talk to you all later. Bye now.